Hello, guys. Welcome back to new series from our podcast Code Talk. We have here new guest, or it's not new. It's the second time here. It's Miro. You can see here previously there in this podcast, and you can see it here. So we can basically jump to this session because you are not new. So just fast, quick introduction from you. So stage is yours.
Yes, so my name is Miro. I'm working as a senior technical QA in Wisma for the last 6 years. Totally, I think I'm doing the QA for the last 15 years or so, 16, and specializing in the test automation. Um, at the moment, mainly about the mobile apps and APIs.
Okay, so thank you. And what we are talking about today? What is this?
Well, I would like to talk to you about the GitHub Actions, the way we are using them, adapted them in our team, and how they are helping us to achieve our goals.
So no, just introduction to GitHub Action, but something more.
Yeah, I guess that people know about them, and some of them are using them as well. So maybe just about how we are using them in our team and um, what are, in my opinion, best practices in using them.
Okay, so let's start. But firstly, let's start once again, just fast. What are the GitHub Actions and what they have or what they provide? So
Basically, GitHub Actions are continuous integration and continuous delivery platform, automation platform. It helps to set up the pipelines for the software development teams, and they are built directly in GitHub, so you can use the code directly from your repository, run your tests, do basically anything can be automated, any workflow being used as a part of the software development, let's say uploading the application, building it, running tests, generating reports,
everything, basically.
more or less.
Okay, so yeah, we started with this. And what's the main components of the GitHub Actions?
Main is the workflows, workflows that are built from the different steps and jobs that help us, let's say, to do the whole pipeline from building the application, uploading into, let's say, Firebase repository. Then it can be downloaded into browser stack. Then some of the properties are overloaded in a test project at the runtime, and the actual test is being run. After the run of the test, the reports are being generated and uploaded as artifacts for anyone to see.
Nice. So basically, you started already with this one test flow. What I wanted to ask, but so for everyone who lost me or lost you, so basically there is the app which gets built somewhere and then parked in the cloud, and then you are able to test it with your basically tech stack, what you are using there, and then you have the report from those tests. Okay, that's nice.
And all this was done previously manually, and now it's been part of the automated pipeline.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Oh, very cool. You said or previously you had presentation and internal QA meetup with our QA guys, and you said that you are not using emulators for mobile testing and no simulators, but you are using browser stack. So why?
Well, the simulators usually do not simulate actual devices that are being used by our users. There can be different situations on the actual device, so we are preferring to test against the real physical device. And what Browser Stack offer us, they are offering us to test on the real devices without putting a strain on our own infrastructure. and also we are able to test more in parallel. We are really limited only by the license, how many threads we are prepaid on the browser stack.
Yeah. Okay, so basically you are running everything on browser stack. What that it means on mobile testing, of course. But yeah, that means that what happened if the browser stack is down or is unaccessible or something. So what?
Our tests are built in a way that you are able to switch between testing against the remote browser stack platform or against physical devices on our own device farm. So you are able to switch if the browser stack is not up and if down, you are able to switch to our own device farm. There is only the limitation that you have a certain amount of devices available and certain devices.
Yeah. Does it happen or did it happen previously that the browser stack was unaccessible and you need to test it on physical devices or it's working all the time?
Most of the time it's really reliable. Once it happens that when they are migrating to, maybe we're migrating to the new version of the browser stack, then our tests were not working for a while because they change how the devices are being initialized. For instance, we before there was no limit on these premium devices like iPhone Pro Max, and they introduced the limit how many threads you can run against those devices because they are very expensive. So
Yeah, of course. So, but basically, if you are running those runners, you are running it against browser stack. You mentioned threads and so on. So, and in GitHub Actions, we have these runner minutes which cost something. But also, this is not only about cost as money, but then is also cost about manual testing and testing in GitHub Actions. So, do you have any estimate or at least something that they can just say that okay, it is costly for us or it's cheaper than manual testing or how it's this one? Because previously we were testing manually, right?
since we have like a GitHub Enterprise already available, we are using for our repositories, and this GitHub action is built in the repositories and it's already there. So it would be a shame not to use them. And since we already have it, it was just a question of creating those action workflows, and it saves us a lot of time, a lot of manual testing, and help us to get the results quicker, release quicker, and therefore it's in the long run it's saving also real money, not only the time.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And okay, we talked about these runners and so on, but as this running on browser stack, it's real devices, but those tests can be flaky sometimes. Did it happen for you, or everything is 100%, or how you did it?
Yes, my tests are all 100% non-flaky and running at the optimal efficiency. No, it's as always there is some tests that are flaky or not working great. For that, to identify them, we are using the report portal. Our tests, when they are running at the real time, they are pushing the results into the report portal, which you can then just generate the graphs and with specifically targeting the flaky tests or the tests that are failing constantly or most. And then you are able to identify which tests are failing randomly or most of the time, or the tests that are taking just too long to run, and optimize them into test that runs less or it's more stable, let's say.
Yeah. And does anyone ever kind of ignore the red build or red tests and mark it as flaky and then push it to production, let's say? Or are you investigating correctly them and this report portal is showing real flaky test, not that problematic code with as a flaky. So does it happen? Or?
Yes, we compare the results from the more runs. So to avoid this false positive, that's really when we can really see that test is failing or is really somehow flaky, and it needs to be retested. And yeah, we are really paying attention because we don't want to push into the production something that's really not up to.
Definitely. Is it also automated, or are you checking those previous version tests and results and so on?
Report Portal has got the built from the functionality when he can, after you went through the several runs with the debugging the outcomes and setting this is the automation bug which need to be fixed, or this is the product bug, or this is the environment issue, and so on and so on. And it learns from your analysis, and then it can help you to automatically do the analysis of the run and quickly go through the run and see, yeah, it's automation bug or it's really issue with the product. Yeah.
Okay, now let's move on to basically reusable workflows. As mentioned, basically you are trying to use most of the workflows as reusable, which means that let's say you have 15 workflows which using some reusable workflow, then one bad change could basically get out or fire all the 15 workflows, let's say. So
Yes.
are you aware of this, or and did it happen previously for you? Or?
Yes, it can happen because the workflows are built from the actions. They are written separately for each functionality. Let's say download of the application, upload into browser stack, generating the report, overriding the test properties, actual run of the test, and each of these action is in separate file, and this is then reused in each workflow. Depends if we are testing the API or we are testing the application which is consuming this API. This depends which action is being used, but some of them are shared with all the workflows, and can really happen if some of those action is faulty, it can affect all the workflows. But as well, on the other hand, it's easy to identify which action, which particular part of the workflow is failing and fix it in one place, and then you can
everything is
fix all the workflows or update the workflows to the latest version, because usually the GitHub action is GitHub is complaining about the outdated version of Node.js.
Cool. But you mentioned this kind of debugging and errors and so on. How it's for you or for you guys in these workflows, how it's this debugging and error states, and how many attempts you need to run to have complete workflow with green mark at the end? So
I have to say it can be very frustrating to debug those workflows and actions, since especially if you are starting and with it as something new, there is the extension for a Visual Studio Code that helps you to run the action within the GitHub Visual Studio Code, but it's not perfect as well. But usually the best way is to fix your code, push, and run your action, and then you can see it's pass or fail, and this way you have to debug it. So it can be frustrating, then it's so many runs till you get it right. But then when you get it right, it's really rewarding, and it's really like, yeah,
you are satisfied then.
Yeah, finally.
Yeah. Okay, and the first question now is who built the workflows? What do you have for the automation and so on? So was it you or the team as this, or who is the leader?
Well, when I started with the GitHub Actions, I was a one-man band, only QA at the time. So it was started by me, and I created those. Of course, I got inspired by the GitHub Actions that were used by our developers as well, and by the third-party actions. Some of them I'm using within my actions. So it's not completely written by me, of course, but most of the stuff I set it myself because we didn't have any DevOps engineer or anyone else, and we cannot rely on help from the developers. So if we didn't do it ourselves, we wouldn't have them. So it was just a question of if we do it or we are not having.
Then the next question from this question is that okay, you are on vacation. Who is maintaining it? Right? If something happens, because it should work, but no one knows.
Cannot happen anything.
Bulletproof.
Yeah, it's. I would like to think so. So far, so good. But if anything happens, yeah, the developers can, who prepared their GitHub Actions for building the app, for instance, can step in and fix any small issue. But hopefully, nothing unexpected will happen.
Yeah, definitely. Also, you mentioned that you are using custom action or workflows and basically also using the GitHub built-in actions. What about the security? Are you aware of it, or are you using the, let's say, latest versions or pins version? Because yeah, there could be vulnerabilities or something. How?
Yes, security in our company is very strict, so we have to be careful what we are using. When we are using third-party actions, we are making sure that from the little-known companies, like we are using action from Browser Stack itself, which are helping us, or the API from Browser Stack for the uploading application, for instance, and set up an environment. And even then, we are not using the latest version. We are using this version which we know it's has no vulnerabilities and it's no faulty in some ways. Because if you are using the latest, it can with the latest update, it can, as you mentioned, it can make all your workflows unstable and faulty.
And basically, it's not only about let's say security or vulnerabilities, but it could be then some major update or something, and it will break everything. So yeah.
Yes. So it's both security and stability.
Yeah, stability. Yeah. Okay.
And in terms of security, if I can may add as well, you are using security built-in functionality in the GitHub when you are not having anything directly in the code, but it's in your secrets.
Cool. Good idea to use it like this, not in the inside the workflows. Now, maybe the question about what about performance testing? Are you working also on the performance testing, or basically are you doing those performance testing, or no, or how is on your side?
Yes, we have a performance tests. We in the past we used the JMeter, but it proved to be too heavy for the use on the resources. So we are at the moment starting to switching to C# based to Mbomba, and yeah, we are running starting to run our tests as well as a part of the pipeline in GitHub Actions. It's usually being run at night or over the weekend and help us to identify the endpoints that are failing or there is some problem with the performance of those endpoints.
They discover already something, or as you mentioned that they are building it still, so
yes, we already have the results. When the endpoint we didn't suspect be a problem, which is one of the endpoints that being called by the app in the beginning of the sync cycle, and a relatively easy call, but on a huge table, starting to fail. Out of, let's say, out of the 100 requests, 70 requests it's failing, which is quite a lot. In the app, it's usually you don't pay the attention when it's not performing, you do the thing again and then it's okay. But especially in this performance test, now you can see that something is dodgy with this particular endpoint.
Cool. So it also helped already.
Yeah.
Nice. Yes. Okay. So basically we have kind of everything, all topics covered, and maybe at the end the question about, do you have one thing what you would like to know before you started on those GitHub Actions, one workflows?
Yep, it was very challenging, especially when you starting to work with the Action and you don't know what you are getting into, especially with this debugging functionality and try and fail approach. But once you get gist of it, so it's very rewarding and you can see it nicely falling into place. But when I would know beforehand that it takes so much try and error, I would rather use something much easier to
Almost
use.
never ending loop, right?
Yes, yeah.
Cool. Okay, so then thank you so much for coming, and we can see each other in next podcast episodes. Bye, guys.
Thank you. Bye.